Hey everybody, I hope you're all doing well. As you can probably tell from the title of this video, some semi-exciting, for me it's very exciting, but I'd imagine that for most people it's semi-exciting, news happened a few days ago. My tarantula, Pink Toe Pete, as I call him, he's been featured in my home library tour video. He molted for the first time in my care, for the first time since I've had him. And that was pretty cool. Tarantulas, they're a lot like snakes, a lot like other animals that will shed their old skin when they're growing and they're getting too big for it. And so every once in a while, a tarantula will shed its old skin. It'll molt. And one of the exciting things about that for the person who's keeping the tarantula is that if it's big enough, you can determine from the old molt what gender your tarantula is. And it does make a difference because with tarantulas, females typically live a lot longer than males. Males will molt until they reach their final molt or their mature molt, and then they only have a few months left. And in the wild, they're going to be spending that time going around trying to find a female to breed with. Females can live a lot longer than that. That's just the way God made it. And so it would be really exciting to find out that I have a female tarantula. Now, I call my tarantula Pete. I just kind of assumed it was a guy. I don't know why. I thought of the name Pete. And Pete is short for Peter Parker, Spider-Man. That's where that's coming from. So I was assuming it was Pete, at least until I had proof to the contrary. But I'm going to attempt to determine the sex of the tarantula in this video. I can't promise that I'll be able to. This is the first tarantula I've ever had. I'm still new to the hobby. I plan on getting more at some point. But, so yeah, I'm not an expert by any means. I don't know the jargon or the vocabulary of the different parts of the tarantula. I just know what I've researched from watching other people on YouTube and reading other stuff online. So we'll see how well this goes. But in any case, I thought it would be a cool video to make and show to you guys because it's just something that you don't typically have the opportunity to see in the real world. A tarantula molting and getting an up-close look at that. At least I think it's interesting. Maybe you'll think it's gross, but still, gross is good if it's on a video camera, right? It's only not good when it's right there in front of you. And so I was filming him as he was molting, but I didn't really have a tripod or anything like that to set up my camera and just let it run on a time lapse, unfortunately. So what I would do was I would just go in every 10 minutes or so and film for a few seconds. I didn't want to disturb him or anything while he was busy going through what, at least to me, seems like it'd be a traumatic experience. So the footage I've got coming up, it's just a couple of clips stitched together. There's him molting, and then there's me trying to identify the sex of the molt. Again, I hope you think this is interesting, and yeah, let's get to the video. Okay, so it's been a couple of days now, and I've been waiting because he was sitting right on top of the old molt. And he hasn't moved in a while because it always takes tarantulas time to recover a bit. And you can see now he's rehydrating. getting himself a drink of water. I know it looks kind of like he's floating in there dead, but he's not. That's just how they drink. So let's get the molt out and see if it's possible to identify the gender. All right. Okay, so now that we have the molt out, you can see it a little bit here. So it's kind of crispy right now, I guess you could say. I'm not sure if crispy is really the right word for it, but it's been in the enclosure for a couple days since he's molted. So it's not like it's a fresh molt where it's still loose, where I can pry apart the legs on their own. I'm gonna have to take the molt and let it soak in soapy water for about 10 minutes or so, and then hopefully it'll be more pliable so we can see what we're looking for to determine the actual gender. I'm not sure how well my camera is showing things. I want to give you at least some sort of look at what the molt's like. You can see, you can't really see the fangs there. But anyway, let's go ahead and test this out. We will let that soak and come back in about 10 minutes. Okay, here we go. I am not going to touch the molt. It would be easier for me to just reach in and take it out. I've seen other people on YouTube do it, but I know that the hairs on their legs, well, not on their legs, but on their abdomens can cause people to itch. And I don't know if it's still in effect once they actually molt or not. I really don't, because like I said, this is my first time with a molted tarantula, but I'm not going to risk it just because I'm allergic to everything under the sun, like grass, cats, dogs, you name it. So I'm just going to assume that it would be bad to touch this. That looks kind of gross, a little disgusting. Okay, now I don't have a tripod set up or anything, so I'm gonna have to put my camera down to get his legs spread out, and I'll come back when I have that done. So this is gonna be kind of a disappointing video because, again, I haven't been keeping tarantulas for very long, and I've watched a lot of videos about this in anticipation of being able to determine the gender of a tarantula, but looking at it up close, this is super, super small. So what we're looking for when you're trying to determine the sex of a tarantula is, you see these four teeth looking things in here? Well, between the top two, with the female tarantula, there's going to be a little flap, kind of like a kangaroo pouch, and that's for storing eggs once they eventually have eggs. And so you're supposed to be able to see a flap there, or a pouch. I'm sorry, the quality of this video is not going to be great. And I see something there that looks like it could be maybe a flap, but I'm not sure if it's a flap or if it's just a hole or a tear in the molt, because it's pretty torn up, as you can see. And so at the end of the day, I don't feel confident to say one way or the other whether or not we have a male or a female. So that's the grand conclusion of this video. I was kind of assuming that it would be a male, just because, I don't know, he's not as big as some of the females that I've seen in other videos, but he could still be kind of young too. And of course, the fact that I refer to him as a he and call him Pete, I just kind of was taking it for granted that he'd be a male. But I don't know. That whole thing there. Has me curious. Anyway, I hope that regardless, this was kind of an interesting video to watch, a fun experience. And yeah, thanks for watching.